So we're going to call the meeting of December 1st to order. And again, I'm going to pass it to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Committee of Whole meeting Monday, December 1st. And first, we'd like to do the acknowledgement of treaties of peace of friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is a traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. And now reaffirm the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. The adoption of the agenda, are there any additions or deletions?
I'd like to add for last night's the lighting, just an acknowledgement if nobody else minds. I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Okay, could I get a mover, please?
M 2025-1201-147, that the agenda be adopted as amended with changes.
Could I get a seconder?
So moved.
On the motion, those in favor? Motion passed. Okay, we go down. Statements of conflict of interest, if there are any, please see the clerk. Presentations, petitions, and delegations, there are none. Business of council, Mayor Arsenault had something that I will present on behalf of his voice. The dangerous and unsightly premises process, okay. I would like to go over the process which is required when a home or a building is taken down so that everyone knows exactly how things progress. So number one, the identification of a potential dangerous or unsightly premises. A property may be identified as being dangerous or unsightly in various ways. The most common means are by bylaw enforcement officers, fire officials, elected officials, or municipal staff or members of the public. In Beldoon, the common practice is to have the fire department identify the properties. The second stage is preliminary assessment by the bylaw enforcement officer. When a property is identified, the bylaw enforcement officer is notified. The bylaw officer will send a letter to the property owner informing them the property has been identified and will notify them of the date and time that an inspection will occur. The bylaw enforcement officer conducts a site visit to determine whether the conditions may meet the criteria of dangerous or unsightly. Under the LGA, the bylaw officer will provide a report to council after their inspection. Number three, the notice to the property owner. If the bylaw enforcement officer believes the property may be dangerous or unsightly, they issue a notice of contravention letter to the property owner through the municipality. And the fourth stage is decisions and issuance of an order to comply. If no action is taken by the property owner after the issuance of the notice of contravention, the bylaw officer, enforcement officer, may issue an order to comply under the LGA. Before an order to comply is issued, the bylaw officer will request a resolution of council. The fifth stage is monitoring the compliance. The bylaw officer monitors the property until the deadline detailed in the order to comply. The sixth stage is the municipality undertakes the work. If the property owner does not action the property and does not appeal the order to comply, the municipality is permitted to enter the premises and complete the required work. This is done with a resolution of council. It is the practice of the municipality to also obtain an entry warrant for any property that is being actioned. No, I'm not done, sorry. The seventh appeal rights. It is a property owner's appeal the order to comply. The municipality will arrange for a hearing. The appeals committee will hear the appellant and the inspector and render a decision. The property owner is provided with a copy of a decision and may appeal the decision to a judge of the Court of King's Bench of New Brunswick within 14 days after the copy of the decision was provided. Number 8, the cost recovery. Once work is completed, the municipality may cover its costs by submitting invoices to the Finance and Treasury Office. The final resolution, the file is closed when the dangerous and unsightly condition is eliminated and all costs have been recovered. That is the process that is taken when deeming a dangerous and unsightly premises. Council would like to chime in?
Yeah, just if I may, this council, prior to every meeting, takes an oath that they will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of their ability the duties as the offices may be imposed upon us by law. And the reason I repeat that is because we do consult with our legal to make sure that we are complying with all the regulations and the obligations that we as a council are committed to. And, you know, as the process proceeds, it is not something that happens in minutes. It's always minimum of 30 days. And in many of these cases, you know, due to unforeseen circumstances, you know, we did target some properties years ago. In fact, I believe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And, you know, by the time we got through the process, you know, this is basically the first, we did tear down a second one also. So there have been 2 tore down over a period of about a year and a half. So it's not something that council took lightly. It's not something that we jumped to conclusions over. At the end of the day, it's a process that was followed very, very strictly with legal advice. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a question of trying to make sure that these premises are not a hazard to other areas or other people in our community. So, you know, I have no issues with saying that, you know, there are always, you know, objections to some things that go on, but by the same token, there are things that must be done, and I commend council for following it by the letter and to the T. So.
Yeah, so this is something that's not done overnight. It's like there's a lot of steps, as you can see by the policies that Marilyn just went over. This is brought forward, and there's, you know, we make sure that, you know, all the steps are followed, and the person does have the opportunity to appeal it. And I'd like to see the policy put into on our Facebook page. And stay there, and also maybe put it on in messengers at the beginning of the year, that there's a possibility that we do have more coming up, so that the people are aware that we are following all the steps before we go to, and it's not the unsightly, but it's the dangerous part. They won't just bring down a building because of the unsightly. It's the dangerous. If it's dangerous we don't know if kids are hanging out there, you know, it catches fire and then somebody gets injured. It's a little bit, but it's mostly the dangerous part that the buildings are brought down.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm just going to add my little spiel. The unfortunate thing is the misinterpretation of the facts resulted in slanderous attacks on our administration and a local contractor. And this negative rhetoric, unfortunately, at individuals, you know, it's unfair and cruel, and especially without presenting all the facts. It's unfortunate that that's the way it went. So that's my little spiel. Okay. There's a question period after the meeting, sorry, okay? Now I will move on to Councillor Carmichael.
Yes, I added on the campground, the lighting last night, which was a beautiful event. It was a nice turnout. The choirs did an amazing job, the school and the church choir, and it was very enjoyable. But I want to thank you also, the event committee and Daryl and everybody at that event committee that made this possible. It was a beautiful evening, I think enjoyed by very many, so thank you to everyone. So if anybody else has anything to add to this.
It was an eventful weekend, yes. Daryl Culligan, our Rec and Wellness Coordinator, did a wonderful job, as did the workers for the village. Amazing, thank you.
The second thing I have here is I attended a meeting at the CRSC, and I just want to let people know what the meeting was about. It's just a general information, and it was regarding the homeless. They're going to have 30 units that's coming in, and those units are going to be put in. You know where the old Walmart was? I don't know, off of King Street, basically on the Mine Road. And there's a street there, Levine Street, I believe it is. And that's where those units are. There's only 30, that's at the beginning of it. And there's going to be they're basically beds and a desk. And there's going to be, every 5 units will have a washroom and a sitting area. So I just want to share this with the community. It's a big project. They're preparing the grounds right now. It's just a temporary place, this area. They're going to be moving these in a permanent area later on. It's just that right now, for the winter, they're running out of time and it's getting cold. So, and there's probably going to be more units in the future to come. Also, I was there was a contract awarded to Modular Bridge. It was $710,000. Again, that was a CRC. And then there was also money that was left over in their budget that was brought over to the general operating account. So this was basically the meeting of that I attended last Wednesday. It was very informative and it was quite nice. I'm glad we're doing something for the homeless in our area, especially there's quite the number. So that's all I have on that. Thank you.
Anyone? Okay, we'll move down to the administration. CAO Lee.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. So first item that I have is just a brief update and discussion for the new capital renewal funding source that's come in from the Environment and Local Government Department with the GNB. So as council is aware, this is a new funding source that we can build out for the next 4 years. They are asking for us to have this together before the end of the year. They'd like a plan submitted. As Clerk Treasurer Buckle has alluded to before, this is something that needs to be revised every year. So the department was not terribly concerned about the 2027 to 2029 projects. But they would like something in for 2026. I'd sent out an email to council on 4 projects that administration had used to put into the plan. That was based first off, the priorities of council and some projects that we did have arranged for 2026. So there was some ditching work that was being done on Curry Drive that was scheduled for 2026. And then the following projects we had were based off of the asset management plan, using that plan to try to determine the next ones that should be prioritized. So we do have those 4 plans, and we actually received confirmation today that those 4 plans are all eligible, so they can be put into the plan and approved by council. So we will have that on the agenda for the regular council meeting. However, if there is any feedback from council, I'll ask you to get back to administration through the email. If there is other projects that you want to consider for this or you think would be a better fit, that's no problem at all. We can have discussions around what fits well. The primary one, though, that we are looking for is the 2026 ditching project. So that's a brief update on that. I just wanted for council to be aware that the plan has been built, and we'll distribute that out to council for review. And it has been preliminarily approved by ELG. They have let us know that everything there is eligible. So if you have any questions on it, I'll do my best to answer, but we would be looking for feedback before submitting that plan.
Okay, are we going to policy discussions? Thank you.
Okay, and then the next item I have is around policy discussion. So we have built some draft policies that council did request that we put together. There's quite a few policies that we've been working on over the year that it would be great if we could kind of get those wrapped up. So we've been working very closely with the fire department, revising their policy and procedures. So I'll resend that back out to council with some of the suggested changes there. And also, if there's any priorities from council on policies that you would like to see updated for the next meeting in December, please let administration know, and we can prioritize those. There was a couple bylaws that we had made some recommendations on. I understand that those are a little bit more tedious. They involve a few readings and take a couple meetings to pass. However, the policies are relatively quick. We can do those with just a resolution of council. So we did move along an employee recognition policy. We did have a serving alcohol policy for municipal events. I'm also in the process of drafting the culvert policy, as council is aware. That's one that's come up quite a bit. So we're going to be making lots of recommendations and hopefully getting a bunch of these passed for December. So again, if there's any policy priorities that council would like to see for December, please let us know.
If I may, just I'd asked that we have an employee recognition policy, and I thank the CAO for putting that together so quickly. I believe that our employees will benefit and will appreciate the fact that councils recognize their service, so, I thank you, CAO Lee, for putting that together so quickly. Well done.
Okay, I guess we will move to adjourn the meeting. Could I get a mover, please?
M 2025-1201-48, that the meeting is adjourned at 7:18.
Can I get a seconder?
So moved.
On question, those in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
Meeting adjourned.